So once we've signed in, this is what your email looks like when you are into it. And basically there is the inbox, which we are in now. And in the inbox, there are 3 headings if you have Gmail. So the first heading is primary, the second heading is social, and the third is promotions. So just going in order, primary is just going to have all your emails coming in. You can see some we haven't opened, some we have. And then social is specifically going to be emails from social networks, media sharing sites, dating services, and other social sites. They'll automatically be filtered into this heading. And then promotions is going to be all the subscriptions that this email has subscribed to. So this person has subscribed to Harvard Medical School, HelloFresh, Healthline. So this is the place you would go to keep on track of all your subscription email services. So going into our primary email, I'm going to select an individual email here. So let's just go with, this one. So it's just a random email, but in each email, there's a bunch of different options that you can click on, and you can do a whole bunch of different functions for that email. So in this, we have archive. So if you click this, it will actually archive the email, and then you can go and access your archived emails after that. I'm just gonna undo that really quickly though. And then we have report spam. So if this were an email that you keep getting from them and you didn't subscribe to it or something like that, you can report it as spam, and then it will go into your junk mail, or you may not receive it. Then of course there's the delete button. So you would delete the email from your inbox if you don't need it. And then, I'll undo that so you can see. So this one is the mark as unread. So maybe if you accidentally clicked on an email and you want to remind yourself to read it again later or at a different time, you can mark it as unread, and then you can see that here it becomes all bolded and everything. So you remind yourself to re-click it. And then there's also the snooze button, which is really effective if you have a certain time that you want to reopen it. Like if it's a pertinent email and maybe you're busy at the moment, you can click snooze and pick a date and time, and then it will notify you to check it again. And then following this, we have add to tasks. So this will add it to Google Tasks, and then it will remind you to check it. If you can see over on the right hand side, that's Google Tasks. So it's just a task there. I'm gonna undo it, but if you use Google Tasks to keep up with your to-do list, then you could do that. And then you can also move it to different categories. So if you have an inbox, a lot of people will create folders. And then so this would be where you move it to your different folders. And then of course you can label it as something else. Like for example, if this is actually a social email, you could label it here, and then it would come in the social inbox. And then there's also other options under this 3 dots. So mark as read, mark as important, which will put, I believe, an exclamation mark next to it. You can add a star, you can create an event, or filter messages like these, for example. Like you could search for all emails from this sender. So I'm just gonna go back here. And then you could also mute it. So then if we go back to inbox here, if you want to select an individual email, you will probably already know how to do that. You just click on it. But there is an option if you, let's say I want to select a whole bunch of emails and just delete them because there's too many here, then I can actually click, let's say I want to select all emails, I can select them all here. Perhaps you just want to delete all your emails. You could select all unread emails. So that's just going through and it's selecting all the ones I haven't opened. And then you can press that to undo. Or another option, I believe, is you could just press shift and just keep pressing it. So I'm pressing shift on my keyboard right now, and that allows me to select the specific emails I want to. And so then going on to sorting emails. So I'm just gonna go back here, and if we want to label this as something else, we can click on work. So I'm just gonna click on work and apply it here. And then if we click on this work tab on the side, we then can see this email is there. So that's a useful way to sort your emails so that you don't just have a whole bunch in your inbox as we see here. And so,
could you do that again?
Yes, for sure. I will do that again. Let's just do it with another email. I'm going to use this one. And then, oh, it's the same email. I'll undo that. So I'm going to just click labels on the top heading, and I'm going to label it as a work email. And we apply that, all of a sudden you see this box appear in blue, and that just means it is labeled as a work email. We click over here, and we can now see it's in the work section.
Okay. Where is it? Where is the undo button? You keep doing the undo. Where does that show up?
Oh, it shows up on the bottom. Sorry. We are going to leave all questions to the end for breakout sessions if you have any questions. But yeah, I'll demonstrate that again. So see how over here it pops up. It just, anytime you do anything, there's an option for undo. But yeah, all questions can be passed to the end for the other volunteers in the breakout rooms. So then moving forward, we have not yet discussed all of this going on here. It's a little bit busy. So at the top of the screen right here, it's the main section for email. I'm just gonna drag this down a little. So this is really where all your folders are gonna be. So we have inbox here, which is everything gets in here. We have the 3 tabs we've just gone over. But then there's starred emails. So this is where you can, as it says here, you can give messages a special status, and then they can be put in here. So say you have an important email, like I really want to read this email. I'm going to, where is it? Oh, there should be a button. There it is. So I'm going to click this star here, and then all of a sudden it's really handy because it's moved to the starred folder. And then snoozed, again, as I went over with the buttons, if you would snooze something, then it would just be moved here. Under sent, this is where you can see everything you've sent with this email. And you could just double check to see what you've sent. Sorry, then drafts would be if I had started writing an email. So let's just say, I'll just say hello. So let's say I started writing an email, but I stopped writing it. The great thing about Gmail is that it automatically saves this as a draft here. So I can go back if I accidentally exit out of it, and it'll be saved here. And then if I don't want to keep it, I would just click delete. So then we have work, which, as I described before, this is where all the things you mark as work will go. So we can see there's a few built-in folders already. And there's more down here, like important, chats, scheduled, spam, and trash, which is where all your deleted messages go. And then you have the categories. So there really are a lot of folders, but if that doesn't work for you and you want your own type of folder, like specifically, like let's say you have a yoga class and you get a lot of emails from them, then it would really benefit you to create your own folder, which you can name to your liking. So I'm just gonna, so you go all the way down here. So I'm just gonna redo that because I did that really fast. So you click on more, and that's opening up a whole bunch of other options. And then you can click create new label. And then let's say yoga. And so the thing about Gmail is it wants to know the location of where to play this folder. So if you just click this, it will just go under your inbox, which is what I normally do. I click the blank option, and then it will just exist right under your inbox. And then let's say you have an email about yoga from here. we'll pretend this is about yoga. You can then click the option at the top and move to yoga. So we can see there's a lot of cool tools here that help you manage and filter your emails so that you don't just have all of them in inbox, because that can be very hard to keep track of. And then finally, we're just gonna go into our spam. So our spam is located under the more section, and then you see this exclamation mark and it's named spam. Well, we don't have any spam messages here, but this is where anything that Gmail flags as suspicious or kind of spam like will go in here, and then occasionally you can just check in here to make sure that that no important emails have made it into the spam folder. But normally that there will just be malicious messages here, so like things trying to give you a virus that Gmail has flagged as suspicious. So finally, we're going to be looking at how to unsubscribe. So for example, this person has subscribed to Harvard Medical School. So let's say we wanted to unsubscribe. Let's say because there's so many emails on this subscription list. There's a great option of Gmail where you can just click this and then it will unsubscribe you. Usually at the bottom of the email, there will be an option to unsubscribe. So click here. But if you don't want to go through all this and deal with that, you could just use the Gmail option, which is to unsubscribe. So now we're going to go through Outlook, and a lot of the things will be pretty similar, but there are just a few technical things that are different. Okay, so here we have the Outlook, which is I've just logged into the online web version of Outlook. Obviously, you could have Outlook as the app, which I have on my desktop, but this is the online version. You would just Google Outlook sign in to access it. So going over the search function, we can see this useful search bar, and just like in Gmail, you can search for a specific email. So let's say I want to find the email from Outlook. I'm just going to click search. And then first topic is Outlook team, so I can access that email. And then, so similar to Gmail where we had the social, promotion, and inbox, in this we do have two already made sections that divide up the inbox. So focus is going to be emails that really the most of the emails that you're receiving are going to be under the focus folder. I'm not sure why it's called focused, but it's where you get the majority of your emails. And then other would be something where it's like a subscription or a social service. So anything where it's more broad, and so it's not a personalized email to you, where it's more where you're a list on the subscription and you're just getting this email that's sent to everyone. So I guess focus is called focus because it's like personally sent to you. And then so going over how to select emails, as you can see, as my cursor goes over that specific email, a check mark appears and I can click it. And then there's a bunch of options we see up here. A lot of them are very similar to Gmail. But if I want to select all emails, just like with Gmail, there's this button at the top, and I can click that, and then all of them are selected. And then we see a bunch of options up here. So for example, I could empty the entire inbox, junk, sweep, move all of these emails, things like that. So there's this button up here to help you do that. And then so going over the individual email options, let's say I want to select this email. So it opens up in this window to the right, and you can see what it says, yada, yada, yada. And then at the top, we can see all the different options similar to in Gmail. So delete, archive, all the same. Junk would be if this is actually a junk mail and you don't actually want this email or you think it's suspicious, you would mark it as junk, or you could block it and then you won't receive any more messages from this sender. It will be marked as junk. Sweep, I actually was not familiar with this. Oh, okay. So this is just options for this entire sender. So it allows you to categorize this sender. So for example, I can decide that all the messages from this sender will be moved from the index folder if they're older than 10 days, or just immediately. So you can decide how long you want to keep these emails. And then there's the option to move to a specific folder. And the great thing about this is that there's always an option to create a new folder under here. So if I want to create an Outlook folder, then I would just create that. And then I could then say move to Outlook. So then if we go under folders, we can see Outlook here. And there's our emails that we just moved. And then let me just go back to Outlook. Or let me just go back to this email. So then there's also the option to categorize this. So you can give it a tag, and maybe this tag means a certain thing, like maybe it's work, but you can give it a category, and then you can see that category right there. And then there's also a snooze. Let me just select it again. There should be a snooze button here, but there is an undo. If you had just done something, it's not letting me do it because I haven't done something just now. And then there is the 3 dots, just like on Gmail. There's just other functions here, so you can flag it, pin it, ignore it, create a rule, or even print it. And so, oops, I just enlarged it by accident. Okay. So now going into folders. So if I want to create a folder, I think I already did this, but if I didn't want to use this to create a folder, and I was just in my inbox, I could create a folder by just scrolling down. So past the junk email, drafts, sent, deleted, and archive. Once you get down there, you're going to see the folders that you've made. So we just have Outlook and conversation history. So if I want to create a new folder, I just click on that, type it in, and then it will create a new folder. But I don't want to create one, but that's what you would do. And then if I want to move something to this folder, so if I have something in my inbox here, and I want to move it to a folder, I would click on the email first. Oops, that opened a new tab. I'll click on this one. And I wanted to move it. I, again, use this move to, and I would just click on Outlook. And obviously you might have more folders that you may want to move things to. And finally, going into the spam section, that's gonna be, so let me just put it back to the way it was. So normally when you log into Outlook, you're just gonna see your inbox like this. And then so to access all the more in-depth folders, you're just gonna click on that, and then that opens up everything. So you can see inbox, junk email, and all of your folders that you have created. And then so I'm gonna click on junk email. So in Gmail, it's called spam folder, but in the Outlook, it's called junk email. So here we got this, and the reason why it's here is it's identified as junk. So if it's a mistake, I can click on it's not junk, and it will just move it to the inbox. So let's just say that. And then, so if I go to my inbox, it's there. And finally, going into this news folder, this is really cool. I think this is something that Gmail does not have, but Outlook does, is we can see all these news, and you can, it's almost just like a news site, and you can just click on one. Like I'm just gonna click on that one, and it will actually open a new tab. I don't know if you guys can see that, but you can literally just read an article. So that's pretty cool if you like reading the news while you check your email. So that is the end of the live. That is the end of the live demo, and